Start with media deals at a time when baseball ratings, at least for playoffs in the World Series, are not what they were. You got a couple of deals coming up next year, ESPN and I believe it's Turner. What did Manfred say?
Well, you know, you look at the deal that they just extended with Fox, right, worth $5.1 billion. They're going to see an increase in their percentage. You know, Rob kind of joked with me when we met in the winter meetings. He says, listen, our last deal with Fox, we got a 40% increase. So what do you think is going to happen with ESPN and Turner? Should both of those want to retain the MLB rights?
Where does streaming fit in this?
You know what? That's interesting, Tyler, because if you look at the Turner deal, when do you watch baseball on Turner Sports, right? Only during the postseason.
Playoffs.
Right. Yeah. So I think MLB's looking at this like we want more content distribution all year. And I feel like programs, streaming companies, Amazon, whoever else wants to get into the mix, I think they may have a play here because in an age where media rights in sports have continued to increase, I think baseball is going to look at this very, very carefully and say, hey, listen, what is our best option to make sure that like the NBA and the NFL, everybody's talking about us all year long. And I feel like streaming rights and content on the streaming platform may help that.
Is there a specific streaming player that could have an advantage here? Yeah,
well, we'll see. I think right now ESPN and Turner, they still have the rights. After next year, after next season, 2021, I believe, is when their deal's up. Then I feel like, and even Rob Manfred said, we're going to start talking next year. So I think as time goes and it gets nearer to that declining that deadline, that I think you'll start to hear Amazon and other streaming players. Yeah, I don't think Netflix, but, the Hulus of the world, maybe even, ESPN comes with them with a different package on Disney Plus now. But I feel like baseball wants to see more content distribution around their sport all year long. And I think that's what they'll be looking for in the next media rights deal with these.
Baseball has an aging issue, it seems to me. When you go to the games are largely attended by older white males.
Yeah.
Okay? What are they doing to try and attract and diversify their audience, skew it younger, skew it into other communities, speed the game, whatever?
Well, this is one of Rob Manfred's babies. This is one of the things that he's really proud of that the MLB is doing, and that's going back into certain communities, particularly urban communities, and introducing the game to them via going and repairing and renovating fields. They did one in Harlem a couple of years ago. Now they're going to be looking at, they just started their program. They're going to be doing it now this upcoming summer. So I think that's one of the key issues is going back into communities to introduce the game. And then when you introduce the game to younger kids, they grow up liking the game and following the game. I think esports is going to help that too. There's a lot of kids playing video games now. If MLB continues to be a player in the esports field, I think you'll start to see kids look at the game and it'll gravitate and it'll be better for them. But another issue is that they got this ballpark pass that they have, and it's like subscribing to a Netflix. You subscribe to this, or certain teams have it, not everybody, but you subscribe to a ticket package, and you get to go to any game you want to, any home game throughout that time.
It's like what the ski resorts have done. It's just like
and I think that's a great idea. That's a good idea for baseball because in this age now with younger kids, they don't want to plan. They don't want to have to be obligated to something, so you give them that option. And I think over the next few years, the next decade, I think baseball is going to keep an eye on that.
They're going to put pitchers on a pitch clock?
Three batter minimum, three batter minimum rule. And I think that 5 to 10 minutes will actually change the actual pace or the actual length of the game.
Yeah, we need that.
We'll
we need momentum. I mean, how much would that shorten the overall game?
Yeah, they're talking about a matter of minutes. And if you really put it in, is it really going to change
3 hours versus 3 hours and 5 minutes? Big deal.
Right. But it's going to change strategies. And that's why a lot of managers I talk to at the winter meetings, they don't really like it because now you lose the ability to match a batter with a pitcher or vice versa.
Tell me about what's going on with the minor leagues. There's been a kerfuffle. The MLB would like to sever relationships, as I understand it, with some 40 teams, and they might go away, or they might form their own independent leagues. Tell me about it.
Well, this is a cost. This is a cost and a revenue thing. You look at it from both sides. Baseball is saying, hey, listen, we invest in these minor league teams because we're trying to produce better player development. We're not getting that. The players have to travel too far on a bus. The stadiums aren't up to par. Where's our investment coming from this? And then you look at it on the other side of the field, which is why you have politicians getting involved. Where are these baseball communities? They're in places like Vermont, Bernie Sanders. They're in places like Connecticut. These are small towns.
Upstate New York.
Yes, with heavy political connections. And you got to understand, they have, real estate deals. They have, sponsorship deals. And they have communities that have invested in these these teams, and this is the only thing that they have. And so they're going to fight for it. And I think that what you're going to see is, Tyler, they're going to be teams that it may shrink. I don't think it'll be eliminated, but it may shrink. And I think that's kind of, you're satisfying both parties in that. You get to keep minor league baseball just with shorter teams.
Who knew? Baseball is so much more than a sport.
Yes.
Politically.
I like it. Rob Manfred's a good guy. And speaking of commissioners, thoughts and prayers to David Stern. Ever since I've started at CNBC, David Stern has done a very good job allowing me to understand the perspective of certain things that, business related to the NBA. And I wish his family, the best. And thoughts and prayers with him right now.
All right. Thank you. Jabari Young, CNBC's sports business reporter.